If you're like me and you are a sucker for nostalgia, boy do I have a video series for you. Today, I'm going to start a fun little speed art series on my channel that is going to be turning all of my eras into random media from my childhood. I figured this would be kind of a more fun speed art series in comparison to the design videos I make for every era. This is kind of like for fun, and I feel like this is just a nice little exercise when it comes to character design and really just pushing the bounds of how characters would come across even in different medias. I wanted to start us off with a classic, a animator classic here. Pretty much like everybody who's been online since like 2015 has at least seen or heard of warrior cats, especially in this animation community setting. And yeah, I was a huge warriors cat kid, like started that when I was in middle school and read pretty much almost all the books and had a giant collection and everything. So it's super nostalgic for me to look back on. And I thought it'd be really fun to turn all the eras into cats, considering a lot of things on my channel have to do with cats and dogs anyways. They're like some of the very few that aren't animals, actually, so now we're just we're going full furry mode. Lock in, gamers! Starting off with the Wild Child. Wild Child I knew was gonna be so much fun to catify because she's like got all of this hair and poofiness and swirly curls, polka dots, all the speckles. Oh my god, it was just gonna be so much fun. So I kind of went for like a big kind of Maine Coon forest cat kind of thing. I really wanted to amplify the fluff on this little creature. So I kept like her really round face features and added some of the fluff on the side, and I tried to keep her hair covering her eyes, which is just like a very signature Wild Child thing. And of course, with drawing all the warrior cats, they're gonna have lots of different titles and things, because as warrior cats grow, they get different endings to their names. Basically, if you know like absolutely nothing about warrior cats, don't worry. She's obviously gonna be a kit. She's gonna be like a little kit in the nursery because she's the youngest, so I figured that she will be Wild Kit. And I really wanted to keep her coloration, even though it makes like literally no sense to have a green cat, but like it was just gonna look real bizarre if she wasn't green. I'm just saying, man. Going like all natural colors on these cats also is so damn boring. We want sparkle cats, we want neon eye-bleeding animals, okay? We're talking about the warrior cats fandom. There is nothing better than having a green freaking cat, alright? With orange features. Literally, if I colored her any differently, you probably wouldn't be able to tell it's Wild Child. But nevertheless, she's green, deal with it, and she looks really, really cute, and it just turned out really nice. And I added like a bunch of leaves and twigs into her hair because I imagine this cat just will not be touched by anyone when it comes to being groomed, and I surprisingly didn't cover her in mud. I probably should have done that, considering she's like the most insane child. I say that in a loving way. I love my inner child, okay? Look, but I know what I am. I was bonkers. And so yeah, no, bath time would be a struggle for this poor cat. So she's got like hair out of place, really, really fluffy mane, really, really fluffy tail, lots of curls. I went back in and added a bunch of spots afterwards, just because it reminds me of how her origins are, that she is originally a frog, so I thought that'd be really cute. And this is Wild Kit. Wild Kit, the mud-loving, butterfly-chasing little warrior-to-be. It's kind of a good thing she never became an apprentice or a warrior, because the problem she's already causing as a kid, like, yeah, I think we're good. I think there's enough chaos right here. For Blackbird, obviously, we're gonna go with a black cat, which means a very sleek coat, very slim character build. I wanted to keep at least one of her braids, even though like realistically, like how's a cat gonna like braid a hair, but like whatever, we're not thinking about that. This is Warriors. This is where all of your wildest sparkle cat dreams come true, okay? A lot of people in the Warriors fandom, like especially in the past, would put lots of like feathers and things in people's hair, which is slightly disrespectful and appropriating some cultures. So obviously we're not gonna do that, because it's wrong. Say it with me, let's not appropriate cultures. Yay! So yeah, instead I decided to put like a little Blackbird feather like as like a little tail accessory, because like tail accessories are underrated, okay? I think tail accessories are so cute. And it just would be so practical in some ways. Like, can you imagine her as a hunter, like, laying out her tail as, like, a little lure for other creatures to be like, oh, what's that? And then she, like, pounces on them. Like, it could be used as, like, a hunting tool, actually, methinks. Or, like, imagine if she was a fisher. Like, if she put it into the water of a river and then the fish went to bite it, she could, like, yank them out. Like, it's practical, okay? It's not just cute, but it's also practical, which is very much a Blackbird thing, I feel. For the colors, I was just gonna go all black with it, but like, it just ended up looking like you couldn't even see the line art or features or anything, and I was like, okay, let's tone it back a little bit, because I do try to keep like the exact colors from the original characters, but sometimes it just like doesn't flow very well with the new designs, so I went and changed that up. I decided to give her like a lighter, almost gray charcoal, and then I did some black patterns as like accents on her back to kind of like almost resemble the wings that she has, and then her mask is also there, and I gave her these cute little socks, kind of like her little, reminds me of her little bird feet, and she also has a tail. So then I added like the black accents to things that she has in her regular design. And of course Blackbird would be an apprentice, so she's like a warrior in training. I definitely think that the path before her would absolutely be a warrior. She is too angsty and too aggressive to not be a warrior. She'd be out on border patrol kicking some freaking tail and it would be amazing. Like, she would just be so territorial and so fierce as a warrior. But she's in training and she's trying to learn that lovely warrior code, which I feel like she's probably not having a very fun time with. She's probably like very sick of all of these stupid rules and why can't she just claw someone's face off if they're being annoying kind of thing. So she's learning, and I think that's like a perfect stage for her to be in. So obviously she's gonna be called Blackpaw, and that's just a play on words from her name of Blackbird, and I think she would still be named after the Blackbird. It'd be really cool if her warrior name was Blackbird, like, eventually. I think that would just be like the coolest thing ever. Also, Warrior Cat's design bonus point for having the hair braided magically but then realistically tying on the Blackbird feather with like a vine and leaves. Like, that's how you know this is a warrior's OC. Okay, this is how you know. But yeah, this is how she turned out. I love the big ol' ears and the long tail. She's got such a nice, still like just enough fluff, but very sleek and agile appearance. Like, she's at her peak performance. She is training to be the best warrior she can be. And I really adore that. Moving on to my boy Parker, dude. Oh my god, I had so many ideas for Parker. I had to just settle on one, and eventually, yes, I went back to like doing like a kind of a crossbreed between a Manx or a Maine Coon, and just kind of went with like an orange tabby kind of vibe because everything about Parker is very fiery to me, and I obviously didn't want to like rip off like Fireheart or something and then everybody would just like point and laugh at me like they used to do with Fennel and Jayfeather from 12 Origins. They'd be like, oh, it looks just like Firestar, because, you know, I have green eyes and I'm making an orange cat, God forbid. Yeah, fandom can be really annoying about that. It's just like one orange cat and they're like, it's the only orange cat that's ever existed. And I'm like, shut up, dude. Fireheart's so overrated. But anyways, I gave Parker lots of like swirls and fluff all over the place because he was very unkept, but to keep his more masculine features, I did give him like this cute little like fluff on like the bottom of his chin, kind of like a little beard, which is just like literally one of my favorite things to add to cats anymore for some reason. It's just like so freaking adorable, underrated feature. And I have like his fluff coming out of the ears, got little tufts on top, like very Maine Coon-esque. But then for like the tail, I just went for more of like either a bobcat or like a Manx kind of deal. And I also gave him his like really long flowy scarf because like he's the main character for real for real. He literally, I'm gonna draw him having like some fire in his paw because I decided that his name would be Fire Step. Because I think it'd be really cool if he was just like a basic warrior or whatever and then got like some kind of like insane prophecy. He had like some crazy dream or like some surreal like experience, some otherworldly experience where like as he was like walking, he left behind like trails of burnt paw prints, like fire, and he like found out he has these fire powers and everything. Because fun fact about Parker, he used to be writing this story that I had called The Rebels, and the main character's name was Parker, and he had fire powers. He could generate fire, kind of like a firebender from Avatar. So this is like a nice nod to the actual story that Parker was writing. And also, I just think it's so fitting to have a warrior cat that's like such a Mary Sue, where it's like, yeah, he has this scarf, and he's like super strong, and he has fire powers, and Star Queen blessed him, and it's just like, it's so funny, dude. It's so on brand for Parker. And the one last tiny detail I want to talk about is the fact that I drew the freckles in the line art. There's something about the Warrior Cats fandom, OCs, and or like fan-in versions of like characters when they draw them, and they'll just like put everything on the line art layer, including like stripes and spots and everything. But I decided just to do the freckles because it just like was giving me Squirrel Flight vibes for some reason, and I thought that'd be really fun. Just a nod to that, and the color palette obviously is beautiful. It reminds me so much of my old cat I used to have named Frisco. And in the end, I decided to put the stripes without line art just to keep some design kind of like not all based on the line art, just because it would, you know, be a little noisy otherwise. But I think it turned out really good. I mean, look at Parker, dude. That is one heck of a Warriors OC. That guy is the main character. That's Firestep the Warrior, okay? They're gonna be changing the front covers to this man's, alright? Okay, maybe it's not like that good, but you know, it's still pretty fun. I still think it's pretty fun. Hawley era. Let's do Hawley era as a warrior cat. Now, I got into like an actual heated debate with my own brother about if Hawley would be a warrior or a medicine cat, and he fought tooth and nail to say medicine cat, and I was like, no dude, nothing about Hawley is healing. Like, she's kind of crazy, man. Like, there's no way. She was such a freaking crazy bitch. Like, I'm sorry, not that medicine cats can't be crazy bitches or anything, like most of them kind of high-key were crazy, but like, she's not like on that level, okay? She's very much like a fighter. Like, I literally labeled her era as like the fighter because she's very much so like a mediator, a peacekeeper, and so I don't imagine her being like a medicine cat in that kind of way, because again, very bad at healing, very bad at even recognizing pain at all, just would literally tell you to walk it off as a medicine cat. It's so bad for you. As a warrior, I could see her being such a diplomat, even like being, maybe even becoming like a deputy of a clan, of just being so good at organizing things, getting people together, getting people to get along, listening to all sides of the story, being a fair judge. Like, I could see her being like that kind of level of authority, honestly. As for the design, I mean, Hawley era is already a cat, so my job was pretty damn easy. I guess I just changed a couple tiny features to like catify her even more. Like, I gave her a cute little heart nose. She's just like your very basic domestic short hair. She's got the stripes, she's got the little like socks, and she's got like the little pink features. Like, she's just like pretty much took Hawley's original design and just made it into a cat instead of a furry. So the design itself was really, really easy to do. It was just more or less the whole debate that went into like what her status would be as a warrior, man. And obviously, like, this is probably gonna be up for speculation for quite some time until I tell this part of my story. Then you can also be like, yeah, no, she would definitely be a warrior, or you could be with my brother, I guess, and be like, no, Hawley would be a medicine cat. But I decided on the name Holly Tree as her lovely little name because it gives a nod to the fact that, like, even though, like, Holly's in the first part of her name, like, there's still another plant at the end of her name, too. Because that girl was obsessed with plants, hyper-fixated on plants. Like, Hawley made 12 in Origins. Every single character is named after a plant, so I think that would be, like, such a lovely little nod to 12 in Origins and the fact that Hawley's so obsessed with plants. So that would be Hawley Tree the Warrior. This is literally just her regular design just turned into a cat. Like, she's already a warrior cat OC because she's Hawley era. Like, if you were there, you know. Haley era was gonna be a really interesting one to catify because she's a dinosaur, and like, let me tell you, like, scales are like the complete opposite of fur, alright? This is gonna be interesting. So I kind of went around looking at different cat breeds that I thought would best represent Hawley as far as like the build, the pattern, and I kind of settled in on like this Himalayan or snowshoe kind of cat. And so I went with like this very square like shape, and then I really wanted to show off a lot of like her accessories and things, but not overly so, because like, this is warrior cats and they're in the middle of the woods. Where do you think she's gonna get rain boots? Like cat-sized rain boots. Okay, look, we're keeping it logical. She has her little bucket hat. We're just gonna say one of the weird two legs left a bucket hat on the side of a river, and she picked it up and was like, this is adorable, I'm gonna wear this. Don't ask how there's magically ear holes, alright? It's warrior cats. It's logical enough. But obviously I had to give her like some fluff, because she is like probably the biggest cat out of all of the designs. And I decided to give her kind of like these big, fluffy, almost like furry kind of boots, where it's almost like her fur gets short hair after a certain while, and then very, very fluffy long hair at the bottom. Almost like how like Cocker Spaniels or Poodles have like big poofy, almost like leg warmers. That's kind of what I was going for, to kind of resemble her rain boots. And then for her tail, I thought it'd be really awesome if she like found like what she would call like dinosaur bones. Like she'd be like, she's so obsessed with dinosaurs, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is a dinosaur bone, and she'd like collect fossils and dinosaur bones and like literally like attach them to her tail like with like twigs, vines, all of that good stuff. And so that's where I came up with her warrior name. She would be called Fossil Tail. I think this is probably something that Hawley's been doing for like her entire life, and I think that'd be really adorable if as a warrior she could also like use these like fossils in battle as like accessories. Literally take like bones and like make them into like bracelets and things to help her with her attacks and stuff. Like I feel like this could become like a hyperfixation that's practical, which I think is really fun. And for the patterns and everything, I wanted to keep like a couple of her little freckles and a lot of her original colors in the design, and I think I kind of nailed that. I'm like actually obsessed with the yellow, like the really neon yellows in this design, like on the nose and the ears and the mouth. It's so adorable, literally like makes me so happy. I almost named her like Sunny Tail instead, because she just reminds me of sunshine literally, but I decided to go with the more dinosaur theme because that's just more Hawley. And this was her final design. Oh my god, she's giving the most grandma core somehow, but yet kid core at the same time, which is literally the entire era. I don't know how I embodied it better in Warrior Cat's design than I did it in like her actual like Persona project design. But whatever, you know, we slayed. We slayed the day away. Look at Hawley go. I love her to death, dude. I can just tell these designs are gonna be peak all throughout. On the topic of peak designs and peak gender, let's talk about Robin era, my current era. Oh my god, I had to pick a calico cat. I had to, because Robin's color palette is literally already built to be a calico cat. Like, literally perfect for it, okay? So we went with calico, and I have absolutely no regrets. I think it's freaking adorable and perfect. Oh my god. And again, I really wanted to include some like robin feathers in the design, but I already did a tail accessory, and Blackbird would be really mad if we ripped off her original design, okay? So we had to come up with something else. So I wanted to keep Robin's earrings, because Robin has like these big earrings in their original design, and I was like, okay, what if I made just like tiny little feathers? Like Robin found like some like little feathers in the forest and turned them into earrings somehow magically with their warrior cat paws that they can definitely do. We love warrior cats. Don't question the logic here. It's just a cat design online. Yeah, baby. So I kept Robin's very like round shape and kind of slim build with like minimal like fur tufts and everything, except for on the tail I really wanted it to resemble like Robin's wing, so I tried to go for that. And then obviously Robin has like a super cool hair, and I kind of went like cuckoo freaking bananas with the spots. Oh my god, because calico cats are so fun to draw, so fun to draw. Not to animate, no, not to animate, no, calico cats animation, no, thank you. But drawing? Oh yes, all day, every day, dude. So I went crazy with the spots and everything, mostly because I also kind of wanted it to still resemble like a robin bird in some kind of ways. Now, this is the era where I genuinely think I would be a medicine cat, like 100%. Like, Robin is the healer. Robin is the one who is making Persona Project. Robin is the one who is going to therapy, is working so hard to undo all of this trauma and all of these horrible things that have happened to all the eras. Like, Robin is the one that is fixing up everybody without any judgment, and they literally care for every single one of the eras like their own, and that's so medicine cat coded, okay? Also, I'm like very, very sick right now. Like, I'm literally going through like my whole getting diagnosed with like horrific disabilities and things era. Unfortunately, it's been a really rough era for me medically, so I think it's like honestly really healing for me to be able to say, hey, even though I'm sick, I'm still healing other aspects of my life. And I think that's like really beautiful and symbolic, and I think that like reminds me of like a couple werecaats. Like, there was one medicine cat named Running Nose who was like chronically ill but like was a medicine cat. And I'm like, dude, that is so amazing, because like nobody else is gonna have more empathy than a medicine cat who is sick. Like, dude, it's like peak performance, alright? I think that's like amazing. And so this would be Robin Wing, the medicine cat. Obviously, like, had to go with Robin in the first part of the name, but I thought Wing made the most sense because this is the era where I took flight, I became a YouTuber, I moved out of my toxic situation, and I'm literally free. So everything about this design, down to the name, down to the title, everything, I feel turned out the absolute best it possibly could. I feel like I've done a really good job with all of these designs, but Robin's just hits so much different, man. So good. That concludes the very first of many of the speed art videos I'd like to do. Today's just covered the Warrior Cats series, which is a book series that I was obsessed with from middle school onwards. These videos are just meant to be for funsy onesie, just something kind of wholesome in between all the like high-key, like really serious stuff going on with Persona Project and everything. Like, this is just kind of like a nice little break from all of that. It's still Persona Project related, but in a fun kind of silly way. Hopefully you enjoy the kind of shorter videos. I know some design videos could be like unreasonably long for like every kind of reason because I'm over explaining everything because I love design, but hopefully these are a little bit more easy to digest, and I hope you look forward to the next video where I'm going to be doing Webkinz. I'm gonna turn all of the eras into Webkinz, so join me next time. Until then, I hope you enjoy my cringy little sparkle cats. Who else turns their own life into sparkle cats? Like, it's just, look, I'm PetPyves, alright? I think out of everyone, I got the excuse the most. But it was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.